Hey guys, Lyrics Messiah here, and today, as promised, we're gonna talk about the space. For those of you who are wondering, no, I did not move out. We're still home, but what I did do is I converted what used to be our veranda into a home studio for YouTube purposes, but other videography stuff as well. I was looking for space for quite some time. It's something that I did complain about, and it's actually one of the main reasons why I stopped posting as often, because it was just always so much work to turn my room into a studio. I did a video about that. If you haven't seen it, you could check that out just to get a little bit more context. But I actually had a few options. One of the options that I was actually about to go with was this space right here. It might actually be the same size or just a little bit smaller than this room. So, I mean, it was a viable option, but two issues with this space. The first one being, well, I would be sharing it with somebody else. And that's just not somebody else would be using it, but somebody else would be in the space, as in there would be a different setup on part of the room, so that begins to make it smaller. And then the other thing too is, so like, how convenient would it be for me to go there whenever I wanted to record a video like this? Like right now is actually 10:30 in the night. Like, would I be able to just get up and go there and do what I have to do? And then would I be comfortable leaving my equipment there? So it's a bunch of different questions, but for a number of reasons, I ended up deciding that's not the space for me. No, my sister got married recently. Big up to Stephanie. But Dan now, Messiah Dan, that's a new last name. When she moved out, we actually had a bit of room on the veranda because she was storing some items here. So when she moved out, this is sort of what we was kind of left with. Well, Jewel still had stuff out here and birds. But after we move out, most of that stuff, this is the space. It might not look like much, but I had the vision, and I had a bird there to keep me company. I mean, it's a room, it's a room. And so I decided, all right, what do I want to do with the room? Now, the first thing that we actually did is we got this table. I commissioned this table to be done a while back, and it was actually done for quite some time before I actually brought it home. I call him a pastor. He's not really a pastor, but Pastor Maxi linked me with the table. So shout out to him. The only issue is when we got the table home, it was actually too big to get upstairs and inside. So I had to disassemble it a little bit and then reassemble it on the veranda. So the table, which was the centerpiece, literally, was actually the first thing to come into this space. And that actually got the ball rolling, because for quite some time it's like, yeah, I will do some stuff on the veranda, yeah, I will do some stuff on the veranda. But like, when the table reached, it was like, alright, yes, I'll go in and do some stuff on the veranda. Kind of immediately after the table came, I decided to go out and start to buy the material. First thing I got was the insulation that I was going to use to put in these panels, and the paint. It's a funny story with the paint, but we will come back to that eventually. And then I had to go and get quite a few pieces of wood. I kind of did some calculations on a piece of paper in terms of what I would need. The original calculations were wrong. When I get to the store, I worked it out in my head and I realized, okay, yeah, I need some more. So I bought quite a bit of wood, and I actually ended up having extra. So if anybody needs some 1x4, it's not much, but if you need some 1x4 for a small project, I have some 1x4s. So I just bought all the stuff that I would need. I bought the plexi as well, which is what I used to cover these two gaps that we had in the veranda. To get the transformation actually happening, the first thing I did was a primer. I guess that's what you would call it. I did a first coat of white primer on all three walls. And you will see some sort of discolorations on it, like a white thing. That's actually foam, because there were some gaps between the grill and the concrete as well, so I just had to put in some expanding foam. But yeah, spray painted it, and then I did a second coat of the white. So the second coat of white I did on this wall and this wall, because I knew I wanted to make an accent wall in the corner. But again, funny story with the paint, we will get to that. So we had more or less the beginning of the painting done, just the accent wall to do. It was time to start to deal with the material. First thing I did is I decided, okay, we're going to cut off the plexi, because that seemed pretty easy. And for some strange reason, I decided I'm going to do this in the night, because I'm a night owl. But when we started cutting, it was noisy. vibrating? So we ended up having to stop and resume in the morning. Now I say we because along the way I got assistance from my brother-in-law and my father eventually. So this is me attempting to cut the 1x4 with a jigsaw that I borrowed from Jamel. Jamel, I will bring back your jig, but something happened with it. So what you're seeing right now, right? I'm trying to cut straight with the jig, but the blade of the jigsaw was actually bent. And so while I was moving straight, it would be curving. So it ended up being very difficult to cut the wood. I ended up having to go and get some help from one of our neighbors who is actually, what do you call that, boy? Carpenter? Like, they make cupboards and that sort of thing. So they were good at that. Even though I would have got the wood pre-cut to certain measurements from the hardware, I still needed to do the final cuts to actually get it in place, and I wasn't able to do that alone. So I seek the help. The plexi was much easier to cut, so I was able to do that, and then I routed some holes through the plexi into the metal grill that's behind it. So it's connected to that. So boom. Once that was done, it's like, alright, I could do the accent wall. So I cracked the paint and it's blue. Baby blue. Well, royal blue I think they call it. But it's actually supposed to be scarlet red. Now when I was in the store, I asked the guy, you have any red paint? He's like, yeah, we have scarlet red. He showed me what it would look like, everything. But when he was picking up the containers, apparently he picked up blue instead of red. And I didn't even check it till now. So I ended up having to go and buy another bucket of scarlet red. So if anybody needs some blue paint, I have some blue paint, just let me know. Trying to get rid of it. Now once that was done, we could have worked on the panel. Originally I wanted to do just 2 big panels on either side. But what I realized after we did the panels, which Joanne helped me with, thank you very much, and I put the insulation material inside, it got very heavy. And it's like, nah, I need to slice these up into 3 equal portions. So there are now 3 panels on this side and 3 panels on that side. But my father really helped me with the panels especially, because I had to redo them. I actually felt a little bit bad to call back Joanne because it's like, we do this work and then I undo your work. So it's like, alright, I'll handle it. But Daddy came in and he helped. Apparently he had ulterior motives because he wanted to start a live stream, church stuff from home. But we still appreciate the help. So inside of these panels is actually rock wool fiber. And then on top of it, I put a thin fabric that the sound could still pass through and get to the material so that it could then be diffused or dampened. With that being done, the studio was done and it was time to just bring in all the accessories. So we were able to go from this to this. Now we're in the space. If you guys want like more detailed step-by-steps on how to make the panels or how I came up with the color choices or how to even set up lighting now in the studio, feel free to let me know. But we're here now and we have quite a few things coming. Now for the purposes of recording videos, this is the look that you're going to get, but there's also other things happening in here, namely my editing setup. So I have this wireless keyboard and mouse and I have my screen set up there, but I actually have my PC, which is what I used to edit, set up behind me, and that was actually a custom build. So if you want to know, how I built my PC, which was the first computer I ever built, and I did it just basically from YouTube tutorials, I could share that process with you as well and let you know the specs of it. But again, this is only if you guys are interested in stuff like that. So let me know in the comments below if there's anything you would like me to deep dive into and give you some more information on. But that's all for now. So this is Derek Messiah signing off for now, and until next time, may the light expose you well.